Demand and the Law of Demand. Hi, I'm Mrs. Ross from TJ. Welcome to my take on demand. The hope is that you'll use this video to better comprehend the essentials of what is considered by everybody as one of the main building blocks of economics, the law of demand. So let's go ahead and get started. You will need to take some notes because this is really a big concept. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, demand. We need to define it. What is it and how does it work? So go ahead and write demand. Get a piece of paper. I'll wait. So, demand, what is it? Now, over the past 22 years of teaching this, when I ask my classes, what is demand? Their answers pretty much sound like this. When I want something, when I need something. Seriously, 22 years, it's about the same. And I get it because that is you being demanding. But to have real demand, it has to be a little bit more than that, okay? Or a lot more. Because just wanting something doesn't make stores stand up and take notice of you. It needs something else. It needs your money. Businesses want your money. Just ask the salespeople at the Buckle. They work for a commission. A commission is a small percentage of the overall purchase price. The more you buy, the more money they make. Okay? They like you. It's not just because you have great fashion sense, it's because you're making their check bigger. Sorry to break it to you. Now, here's the actual demand definition. Demand is real when you have the willingness to buy something and the ability to pay for it. 1-2 punch. And if you have those two, you've got real market demand. Now, we need to talk about how demand actually works. Economics gives us tools to be able to help predict when an individual's demand will change. And Hy-Vee knows about it, and if you're going to go into business, you need to understand it. But let me ask you a question first, and you're going to want to write this one down too. What do you think is the number one reason why you choose to buy something? The number one influence for most people. I hope you guessed it. It is price. Now, from here on out, we might be abbreviating price as a capital P, but that is it, the number one thing. Now, how can you tell if price is number one? First of all, we're going to talk about demand schedules. So go ahead and draw this chart. Pause me and draw it. You need a couple different columns. This is very high tech, but I know you can do it. Now, a demand schedule is a table that lists the quantity demanded at each price point at a certain time period. Things can fluctuate because it all depends on what time of year it is, what's going on in the world. If we're all in quarantine, you might be buying more DVDs at that point. Okay. Now, in the DVD area, I was using these price points because I've seen it before. The $5 are probably those big bins at Walmart. $10 are when they're on sale. $20 are when they're first released. $30 are like a box set, like Star Wars or Star Trek or anything star related. How can you get this information? One way is through surveys. Burger King, McDonald's loves this. If you look on your receipt, they typically give you a deal. If you go to this website or if you call this phone number and answer a couple questions, they're going to give you a buy one, get one Whopper free or a free Big Mac just to get you in there. Remember, incentives matter. Another way to get the information would be through tracking sales. Now, if you've ever worked in retail, you know that your boss is checking the level of sales and what's being sold. Also, these savings programs that Hy-Vee has and Baker's has and most people have, including Fairway, they're tracking all your purchases. Now, another way we can definitely take a look at this demand and see what's happening to see if price is really a big deal is by plotting it. So now I need you to find a straight edge and we need to put together this graph. Now, first of all, I need you to draw an X and Y axis, one vertical, one horizontal, about 2 to 3 inches apiece. Then we need to label them. The vertical is the price, the horizontal is quantity, or QTY, or Q. Any of those work. After you've labeled them, now we need to take some information from that schedule. You're going to label the values of price and quantity. Notice here that I've labeled all the dollar amounts, okay, each stemming from 0 upward, okay, and then I've also labeled all the quantities. Now, even though not every price point was on the schedule, we need to make sure that this is a reliable measure. So I did this in $5 increments along the top and 2 by 2s at the bottom. So that way we know that this isn't an accurate portrayal. So just make sure those increments you use are of equal amounts. After you label the values, don't forget the title, because if somebody comes along and sees this graph, they want to know what it's about. So we put number of DVDs purchased. Now, we need to start plotting these. Okay, so you take the information from the schedule and we plot it onto the graph. So at the $5 mark, we bought 10. There's my dot. Now we're going to do the rest. At 10, we bought 6. At 20, we bought 2. And at 30, we bought 1. Next thing you got to do is you got to connect them. This is actually the demand curve. So you're going to connect them. Now, it's not going to be a straight line, but it's going to look kind of familiar, okay? And so this is that representation of how much you're willing and able to buy at each price point. Now, when you're done, make sure you put the letter D there. That tells you this is the demand curve, okay? Now, this is what's in your head when you go shopping. Kind of seems like a rule. It seems like every time prices go down, it looks like this has got to be going on in your head, right? Well, think of it this way. When you go shopping, it's like you have that demand curve in your head. You know the number you're willing and able to buy at each price. When you see the price, you move to that point on your curve. It's not like you have to Google it. Sometimes you call your mom about it, but most of the time, if you see a deal, you're going to buy more. If you show up and they've raised the price a lot, you might scale back or walk away. You know how to do this. You got this. So how can you use this graph with your consumers? Well, while the law of demand explains the relationship between price and quantity, it's the demand curve and its shape that can reveal if your demand follows the law. Now notice this. Demand curve, if it follows the law, should look like this. It should go up on the left, down to the dirt, or down the right. Dirt and demand both start with D, and that's one quirky way for you to remember that, okay? Up on the left, down to the dirt. Now, the shape of the curve gives you a hint that the law of demand is at work. Let's see how your curve actually reacts to price change, though. When price changes, you change how many you're willing and able to purchase. This is called a move along the curve. Let me give you an example. Imagine Tay Tay is dropping a new album. You want to go buy the new Taylor Swift album. Now, when you go out there, you know it's hot, so you're willing and able to buy it at the $30 price. Now, at $30, you're going to buy one, okay? So notice I circled your spot, your dot, and brought it down to the quantity line. This is Q1, okay? Now, that's all fine and good, but when you show up at the store, there may be a difference. It actually dropped the price down to $15, which sometimes they do, just to spark interest. Now, that means that your demand is going to change. You want to buy more. So, where that price hits your demand curve now tells you right here where this pink dot is that you're willing and able to actually buy 4. Now, why would you need 4 Taylor Swift albums? Because you have friends who like them and they've got birthdays. Christmas is coming. Your mom likes Taylor. All of these things can work. And this is your Q2. Sorry it was there before, but there we go. Now, as you can see, you moved along the curve from where the first price hit the demand curve down to where the second one is. And that's a move along the curve. The curve stays there. All these combinations are what you're willing and able to buy at. And when you encounter them, that's when you make the move. So, while this may seem really complex, it really is not. You found a deal. When price goes down, you bought more. Ta-da! Okay, I'm going to catch up here. So as you see, It all comes together. The law of demand looks like this, and it can go either way. When prices go up, quantity demanded goes down. When prices go down, quantity demanded goes up. Now, a guy in San Diego once told me another way to remember this, that this is like doggy paddle. It's an inverse relationship between price and quantity, okay? So if you think about it, you can put your hands up and down, and I'm kind of doing it right now. You can't see it, but it's funny, and it helps you remember. Now, why is this? Because people will buy less when prices are high. They're going to buy more when it's a deal. And this is because we're value motivated. We want the best deal for our money. Now, here is a video. Here's the link I'm going to give you. You can write this one down and you can watch it. It will bring to light all this stuff we just got done talking about it. So the website is bit.ly/law of demand. Okay. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. If you have any questions, you can find me at this email address. Now stay tuned. Up next, Shifters of Demand.